All right. Today's 15th unit from block 4, and tomorrow we will finish the block 5. Only we have like 2, 3 units in the block 5. So, coming to the last unit of block 4, we have employee engagement and retention strategies. Coming to the introduction, employee attrition has become a significant problem for companies, showing impact on their functioning and profits. In order to encounter this problem, companies have been formulating various strategies to engage and retain the employees and secure better performance and productivity. Engagement takes place when people are committed to their work and the organization and are motivated to achieve high levels of performance. So, what do we learn in this employee engagement and retention strategies is how much these employees are able to these organizations are able to retain the employees, and the employees are trying to show productivity and give productivity to the organization. So in the organization, the employee has to be highly motivated and also have to showcase a lot of productivity. Let's understand the concept of employee attrition. Conceptually, the term employee turnover and attrition are similar terms referring to employees leaving the organization. Employee attrition, the Webster's Dictionary defines the term attrition as the process or state of being gradually worn down. Accordingly, the attrition process sometimes starts after a person is employed in an organization and ends when he quits or retires. It refers to employees who leave their jobs due to normal life circumstances. So, employee attrition is that process where a person is retiring or quitting from an organization. Employee turnover is the one that implies that employees who leave the company due to termination or leaving due to their dissatisfaction. So, dissatisfaction may be because they felt that there was no room for growth, or worse, that they were dealing with a hostile or discriminatory work environment. Coming to the concept of, how is the differences of these two terms defined? Is attrition is where it is a normal life cycle of employment. Employees move, retire, pass away, or leave the company for their own personal reasons, like study or different job. Employees are leaving because they have a problem with the company or their jobs. It's a matter of life unfolding. Attrition tends to be higher in companies located in transient cities and organizations that hire older employees as a matter of practice. Turnover refers to people who quit their jobs because they don't like them. A turnover rate says more than a company than it does an on employee. A high turnover rate typically means working conditions are not optimal, pay is below market average, or staffers are not well trained. Concurrently, a low turnover rate is indicative of a work environment where staffers feel appreciated, work as a team, have chances for elevation to higher positions, and are satisfied with their jobs. Both cost you money, but with a few tweaks, you can reduce your turnover rates. Except for stated purposes, attrition and turnover are used interchangeably as both represent employees leaving the organization. So, what we understand in this slide is both of them is leaving the organization, but on what grounds that they are leaving the organization. So, employee attrition is leaving the organization on their own terms, right? Either they are transitioning to another city or they have another different jobs. So due to this, they are leaving the job. But employee turnover is where they are dissatisfied, or the turnover rate is very, very low in the organization. So and they don't like the organization, that is why they're quitting. So this is what is the difference between the two. So employee attrition, coming to the types of employee attrition, you have internal versus external attrition, skilled versus unskilled employee attrition, functional and dysfunctional attrition, voluntary versus involuntary attrition, and drag and drive type or pull and push form of attrition. So the first one is internal versus external attrition. Like recruitment, attrition can be classified as internal or external. Internal attrition involves employees leaving their current positions. Yeah, internal attrition involves employees leaving their current positions and taking new positions within the same organization. Internal attrition can be managed by typical HR mechanisms such as internal recruitment policy or formal succession planning. External attrition refers to employees leaving the organization and joining another organization for better terms of employment or preferring non-employment statuses. It is this form of attrition with which the employer is concerned. Skilled versus unskilled employee attrition. So what did we learn in this previous internal and external is um, internal is where an employee is leaving the current designation to get into another designation within the same organization. External is he's leaving the organization and the designation to join another organization, right, on a better terms. Skilled versus unskilled employee attrition. Attrition can be classified into two categories based on the types of jobs or employees as skilled and unskilled. Unskilled positions often have high attrition. This category of employees can generally be replaced um, without any loss of performance. Companies are a little worried about this as they can get ready replacement. Attrition of skilled professionals may pose a risk to the business of organization. It signifies loss of human capital, skills, training, and knowledge are lost. Further threat is these employees are likely to be re-employed within the same industry by a competitor. Therefore, attrition of these individuals incurs both replacement costs to the organization as well as competitive advantage. Types of employee attrition. The third one is the voluntary versus involuntary attrition. Attrition can be classified as voluntary or involuntary attrition. The employee initiates voluntary attrition. It occurs when an employee leaves by his choice. Causes include lack of challenge, better opportunity elsewhere, pay authoritarian supervision, dislike of place and work pressure. Involuntary attrition is at the initiative of the employer. The employee has no choice. Controllable casual factors include termination. Uncontrollable casual factors include retirement or superannuation or premature death while in employment. So voluntary is where they are getting a better opportunity. Involuntary is, such kind of circumstances arise due to the retirement or the death of an employment. Coming to the fourth one, that is the functional versus dysfunctional attrition. Attrition can also be viewed from the organizational perspective as functional and dysfunctional based on the benefits or loss. Functional, where the employee's departure produces a benefit for the organization, especially when he is less productive and less committed to the job. Dysfunctional, where the departing employee is highly productive and committed, and the management is very much interested in retaining him or her. His loss is not replaceable easily. So I think this is again very easy. Like functional is what where the employee departure produces a benefit for the organization, especially when he is not working at all in the organization. So when he leaves, it's a good thing. Dysfunctional is where with the departure of the employee is very, very productive and commitment, and he is very much, the organization wanting to retain that employee. Drag, that is drag and drive is pull and push attrition. The employee attrition is also labeled as a drag or pull form of attrition based on the force that made employee leave the organization. Drag or pull is the reasons for leaving is outside and the organization. It is due to external attractions, that is job hopping basically. Drive or push form of attrition, the reasons for leaving are inside the organization. It is due to internal repulsions, that is termination. Coming to the concept of employee engagement. Employee engagement is the part of employee retention. Employee engagement refers to an employee's involvement with the commitment to and the satisfaction with work. The term employee engagement has become very popular since past 3 decades. The term originates from the psychology literature and research on how people apply themselves to the roles they perform. Khan in 1990 first conceptualized work engagement as the harnessing of organizational members' um, selves to their work roles. In engagement, people employ and express themselves physically, cognitively, and emotionally during role performances. In other words, people bring their personal selves into their work. So, employee engagement is where employees wholly and solely wanting to work, engaging himself to work mentally and physically, and he is with utmost diligently is performing his roles. Coming to one of the definitions, that is Barclay's definition, the extent to which an employee feels a sense of attachment to the organization he or she works for, believes in its goals, and supports its value. So, where an employee is very much attached to the work and the organization, and he's working with utmost, commitment. Components of employee engagement. Now, employee emotional engagement, a situation in which employees have strong emotional ties to their managers, feel their opinions count, and feel that their managers have an interest in their development. Coming to engagement, cognitive engagement is a situation in which employees know what is expected of them, understand their purpose or mission, are given opportunities to excel and grow, and are given information about how to improve their progress. There are three psychological conditions which are critical in influencing engagement, that is meaningfulness, safety, and availability. So, what is emotional and cognitive engagement? Emotional is where they feel that their interest, they have a strong emotional ties with the people, especially the managers in the organization. Cognitive engagement is a situation where the employee is expected to work understanding the purpose and mission of the organization. Meaningfulness, where I have told you about, where I have told you about how, cognitive engagement are of three critical conditions, that is meaningfulness, safety, and availability. Meaningfulness is how meaningful it is for me to bring myself into his performance. It's a sense of return on investment of a person's effort in his or her work. Safety is how safe it is for me to bring myself into this performance. Availability is how available am I to bring myself into this performance. That means possessing the physical, emotional, and psychological resources necessary for investing oneself in role performance. Availability can also be divided into two dimensions, that is, personal resource availability, such as energy, competence, and family support, job resources availability, such as social support and job control, with limited job demands requiring excessive physical or mental effort. Engagement can be regarded as having three overlapping components, that is, motivation, commitment, and organizational citizenship behavior, that is called as OCB. A model of engagement containing these components produced by the Institute for Employment Studies is shown in this figure. Work or job engagement is also associated with job satisfaction. These components of engagement are described below. Let us see. The first one is the commitment. Commitment is employee engagement, broadly equates with the notion of high commitment, effective commitment, that is an emotional attachment to, identification with, and involvement with the organization, and is an antecedent of work engagement. Motivation is what? The motivation element is in engagement is intrinsic. When the work itself is meaningful, it is also said to have intrinsic motivation. Engaged employees feel that their jobs are an important part of what they are. Organizational citizenship behavior. Organizational citizenship behavior, that is the OCB, is employee behavior that contributes to organizational effectiveness. It is the outcome of the attitudes of job satisfaction and organizational commitment. Desirable behaviors like being respectful and helpful to colleagues and willingness to go the extra mile or work longer hours, accomplish more, and speak positively about the organization signify engagement of employee. Coming to the drivers of employee engagement, several factors contribute to engagement, which are considered as driving forces for employee engagement. Employee engagement is triggered by 6 variables. Now, those 6 variables are leadership, structure, roles, and capabilities, people, system, and process, strategy, positive work and culture, and values. So, all these are impacted by environment, which together influence engagement, and the positive outcomes of these are customer satisfaction and enhanced performance. Engagement can be optimized when leadership structure, roles and capabilities, and people systems and processes are aligned with the appropriate strategy and embedded in a positive work culture. While the 6 factors stated above represent a broad approach to engagement, more specific drivers of engagement are described below in the next slide, that is. So basically, what this says is, you know, that there are several factors like these factors that I've read. They are the basic driving forces of employee engagement. Now, if you want employee engagement, you need to optimize all these 6 factors and bring up a positive work culture, because these are the ones that represent a strategy and also imbibe a positive culture. So let us see one by one. The first one is the wellness in the workplace. Now, what does wellness in the workplace meaning? Well-being of employees is a prime driver for engagement. Well-being is the interplay among physical well-being, that is health and energy, social relational well-being, such as respect, balance, and connectedness, and psychological well-being, such as mood and sense of accomplishment. Organizations realize that well-being results in highly engaged employees. Career development opportunities. An employee who claims that his or her organization provides for career advancement is highly engaged. It is said that employees are 6 times more likely engaged when such opportunities are provided. At the core of career development are the learning and development of facilities which the organization needs to provide in the right spirit. Leadership priority. Leadership can influence employee engagement in many ways. Employees who feel that leaders care for them walk that extra mile towards achieving goals. Transformation leader, that is the strong vision, effective communication, and the likes are great motivators than transactional leaders. More powerful are the charismatic leaders who inspire the followers by appealing to their emotions and values. So, what are the drivers of employee engagement? Is the wellness in the workplace, career development opportunities, and leadership priorities. So, wellness in the workplace is basically balancing both the things, that is, your physical well being and your mental well being. Career development opportunities is basically engaging opportunities and the employees into engaging them into different kinds of opportunities and get the right spirit. Leadership priority is where the employees take the role of being a leader, being the influencers, and motivate and inspire their followers. Engagement culture. Strong culture is a great engagement builder. The organizational culture has made the staff of Taj Hotel lose their lives to save the hotel guests. The employees of Land Rover in UK, to make it profitable and promoted as CEO of HUL, say, I may retire and leave the company, but the company cannot be taken away from me. Culture has the potential to convert average into good, good into great, and great into greatest. So, what is engagement culture means that we have the sense of belongingness. Effective communication, clear communication, top down and bottom up, should be an engagement priority. Employees prefer to work for successful organizations such and to feel that they are contributing to their success. They need to know that their opinions count, be clear about what is expected of them, to understand their organization's strategy, and to see how their work is linked to the business plan. Communication is needed for all these. Individual personalities. So basically, effective communication is to know your opinions. Individual personalities is some personality traits place individuals in favorable minds for engagement. Personality traits related to engagement include frequency of positive mood, that is positive effectivity, dedication or to getting things done, shaping work environment to reflect own preferences. That is, employees with higher levels of each trait are more likely to be engaged in any work environment, independent of any initiative to influence his or her motivation. Job itself. Now, job itself requires that resources or equipment and commitment to the best efforts diversify in employees. Working relationship is where a relationship with peers, superiors, and subordinates matter a lot in employee engagement. Values to the organization is the basic vision and mission that is, you know, giving out the values which are cherished in the management. Participative management is where the employee is empowered with different kinds of practices of stock options, broad level association, job enrichment will also act as engagement drivers. Let us also understand how to measure employee engagement. So measuring employee engagement has got significant importance because of the numerous links that have been made between high levels of engagement and positive business and the natural tendency for organizations to interpret their connection as a source of competitive advantage. Most efforts to measure engagement have been at the level of the individual worker. Individual level scores are most often aggregated to provide a level of engagement across all employees in a particular organization or work cohort. That means that in some variations, they may address all these themes. Gallup's research on employee engagement is perhaps the most ambitious one. Launched in 1997, the Gallup organization covered over 3 million employees in over 300,000 organizations via its framed Q112 questionnaire using a 5-point rating scale indicating weak to strong perceptions. The 12 questions are simple and straight. Do you know what is expected of you at work? Do you have the materials and equipment to do your work right? Or does your supervisor or someone at work seem to care about you as a person? Is there someone at work who encourages your development? So all these questions, are there in Gallup research. But Vance summarizes 10 items that are commonly included in corporate employee engagement surveys that link to a limited extent with academic definitions. That is, pride in employer, satisfaction with employer, job satisfaction, opportunity to perform well, personal support from one supervisor, effort above and beyond the minimum. Personal effort above and beyond the minimum. So such kind of questions, mere Survey does not help. Survey results should result in clear and the employee retention is the process in which employees are encouraged to remain in the organization or the maximum period of time or until the completion of project. It can also be called as a process in which the resources are motivated and encouraged to stay in the organization for a longer period of time for the sustainability of the organization. Employee retention also refers to the various policies and practices which let the employees stick to an organization for a longer period of time. Every organization invests time and money to grow a new joinee, make time a corporate ready material, and bring him at par with the existing employees. The organization is completely at loss when the employees leave their job once they are fully trained. Employee retention takes into account the various measures taken so that an individual stays in an organization for the maximum period of time. Employee retention also refers to the various policies and practices applied within an organization for employees to stick with their jobs and fulfill their responsibilities over a longer period of time. The ultimate aim of employee retention is to make both the stakeholders, that is, the employees and employer, happier. It facilitates local employees sticking to the company for a longer duration, which in turn will benefit both the stakeholders. Factors determining employee retention. Now, retaining the good and performing employees is determined by factors like the age of the employee, career interest, company image, recruitment, selection, and deployment, leadership, that is, the employees join companies and lead managers for supporting managers, learning opportunities the company provides, and performance recognition and rewards. So, the importance of employee retention is the cost of turnover. Now, the cost of employee turnover adds hundreds and thousands of rupees to a company's expenses. While it is difficult to fully calculate the cost of turnover, industry experts often quote 25% of the average employee salary as a conservative estimate. Loss of company knowledge and interruption of customer service. That is the relationship where that encourage continued sponsorship to the business, and also the knowledge of the business where the money is spent on the employee with the expectations of future return. Turnover leads to more turnovers, goodwill of the company, and regaining efficiency. That means the employee effect is throughout the organization. The unspoken negativity often intensifies for the remaining staff. The goodwill of the company is maintained when the attrition rates are very low and regaining amount of time is lost in hiring new employees. And when training, this adds to the loss of the company directly, which many a time goes unnoticed. Employee organizations design, and let's understand the strategies. Organizations design and implement some of the following strategies to retain the employees. There is offer competitive pay package, maintain congenial human relations, provide continuous training and development programs, emphasizes on succession planning and development, take proactive measures in identifying employee grievances, use family involvement programs, um, employee measures to satisfy esteem needs, develop the organization and its business in order to meet employees, encourage internal mobility and job change. So with this, we end Unit 15, and tomorrow we take up the fifth block, and we will finish the 3 units in the fifth block. Thank you so much.